what we'll need for today's class is I'm going to use a balance pad. Okay. If you don't have a balance pad, that's all right. You can always use a folded up yoga mat. Okay. But make sure it's like folded in either halves or quarters, because we're going to be standing on it. You can use a pillow if you want to balance on, but I would recommend something a little bit more firm. So I guess let's go ahead and get started with some core. I'm actually just going to use my balance pad for that. So I'm going to sit my butt down on it. Okay. And what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to lean off of it. Okay. So my butt's on the ground and I'm just going to lean over this. I'm just going to start with this stretch here. And of course you can use a yoga mat or a pillow for this too, but this is a really good opener for the upper body. Nice deep breaths and stretch up those legs. Let's start moving those feet around because you're going to need them. You're going to need those feet today. Oh, nice deep breaths. And just let those shoulders relax, opening up the chest, taking nice deep breaths. Good. And from here, let's get into position. Make sure that we're not arching our backs. I'm using my boyfriend's headphones and he's got a big head, so they're going to start falling off. So I'm sorry about all the extra noise. Yeah, I'm making fun of them. That's fine. All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have a nice relaxed position here with my legs. And as I do a nice clean crunch, right, try not to initiate with the neck, I'm going to bring one leg up and then back down. So we're just really trying to fire each side of the rectus abdominis and of course those lateral obliques. Right? I'm tilting my body just a little bit, okay? Of course you can modify, you can just do the legs or you can just do the upper body, but I am leaning towards one side just a little bit. Deep breaths. Of course, you don't even need to use anything underneath your body. I just like the squish. Been using my coffee table a lot for other classes, and I like that too. A few more. Good. Go ahead and finish up your last one. And stretch it out. Examine your ceiling. Let's keep moving those feet. So I'm flexing the feet without locking the knees, and then I'm going to point them. Get those toes involved. You should feel this in the calf, Achilles, arch, your whole foot. Big circles with those ankles. And let's go ahead and do a set of either the same thing we just did or some modified V-ups. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of my headphones for this. Otherwise, it's gonna be noisy. So arms up overhead, and I'm gonna try to peel one vertebrae at a time. Try not to initiate with the neck. I'm gonna come up and bring that knee up towards my chest. Okay. Nice deep breaths. If you can do a full V-up, which is your legs and your arms coming up at the same time, go for it. Okay? If not, otherwise, you can do some of these. But let's get those arms moving. Let's get that upper body really fired up. Oh, I'm really initiating with my neck. Not a good thing. A few more. And go ahead and relax. Let's go ahead and roll over onto the belly. Okay. I'm just using my foam pad because it's comfy. Okay. I'm going to start working my glutes. So just relaxing the upper body. And I'm going to flex my feet so that my toes are pointing towards the ground. And I'm just going to squeeze my butt, soft knee, squeeze it and hold my leg. Don't let your toes open out to the side. Keep them down. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. If you want an extra challenge, you can lift your upper body up as well, but it's a lot of lower back. So be careful if you have a back injury. And then float it back down. Nice deep breath, and we're going to the other side. You should kind of feel like your hip bones are pressing into the floor, especially the side of the lifted leg. I feel like my lunch is pressing into the floor, but that's okay. A couple more. We're holding at the top, keeping that foot flexed, knee is bent. Another side again. And of course we are breathing. So please everyone, if you're not used to the crazy things that I do, and there's something that Kirk does in his class that you really, really like, I'd be glad to do that. You just holler, shout it out. I really do not mind requests. So I'm just alternating sides, holding at the top. Couple more. Let's do one more on each side. And go ahead and relax. Just bend those knees, relax those feet. Then you can stretch out the back just a little bit. Right. Nice deep breaths. Oh. All right. We're going to do the same kind of thing again, except you're going to intentionally point your toes outwards. Now, if this is uncomfortable on your knees, number one, you should have a yoga mat underneath you. This is called FRP paneling. It's just a solid surface that I like sometimes, plus it's slippery. Okay, so make sure that your knees are relaxed, slightly bent. You're going to do the same thing with a flexed foot, except your toes are going to be pointed to the outside. Okay, again, it's not a bend in the knee. You're lifting the hip. Try not to roll. Sometimes people can really only lift just a little bit, and that's fine. Do what your body can do. Gotta start somewhere. Keep those feet flexed. I'm not holding as long as I should, so holding, 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 and float it back down. Holding, 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 and float back down. If your hips are popping, rotate them back in a little bit. You don't have to be as opened up as this. And one more on the other side. And go ahead and relax. Return those feet to normal. Let's bend those knees. And let's just work the feet a little bit. Big circles with the feet. And you can open up your hips if you want to and stretch those hips. So just so you know, you best be warming up your feet, because I am going to demand quite a bit of them today, and those calves. So make sure you're really flexing the feet, getting a stretch, and really pointing the toes, getting the arch warmed up. Getting those ankles fired. Nice big circles. Good. Let's go ahead now. We're going to do a few bilateral raises. If you have a lower back injury, I recommend just kind of squeezing your butt and then relaxing. Squeeze your butt and relax. Otherwise, you can try to do a full flex, right? And you're going to feel this in the glutes and in the lower back. Okay, so all the way, it's kind of a little bit uncomfortable sometimes. You feel like the pubic bone is kind of jamming into the floor. So you can put like a yoga mat underneath you or a pillow, whatever you want. Right, and I like to do this with my toes pointed, but if you want an extra challenge, you can flex those feet. Okay, really getting that lower back firing. Again, you can just do more of these if you're already feeling it in that low back. Keep breathing. And I'm going to alternate between pointed and flexed. You'll notice that my legs are just open to a comfortable length, comfortable width. You can do this with your legs together if you want to. It's harder. You could even put I'll like it inflatable like a medicine ball between your knees. Oh, that'd be tough. Let's do a couple more. Last one. And let's go ahead and go into a child pose. Give that back a break. Nice deep breaths. And just stretch it out. Deep belly breaths. And let's go ahead just in child pose here, or whatever position you're in. Try to do a little bit of a twist to get your lower back a little bit more mobile. You can sometimes kind of do like a staggered push-up, and that helps open up the chest. Oh, feels great. For those of you who take Ron's classes a lot, make sure that you are really stretching your pectoralis muscles, because I know how hard he works your chest and your arms. That's why his arms look the way they do and mine look the way they do. Right? I hate working arms. It's my least favorite. I always get so tight. So make sure you're stretching out those arms. All right. We're going to do some planks. They can be done elevated, like on your coffee table. Wall is not enough. I think I know everyone in here, and I know you're strong enough to do them either on your coffee table or on the floor. So I'm just going to go ahead and use my elbows. I'm going to start in this tabletop position here, not letting my butt lift up, keeping my back as flat as I can. And then from here, making sure that those shoulders are over the elbows. Nice long neck, and I'm going to step it back. Hopefully I don't slip. Step it back, adjust so that you could come over and set your mug of coffee on my back and it wouldn't spill. I'm slipping. Hang on just 1 second. Let's see, y'all. So go ahead and keep holding your plank, everybody. There we go. Hold that plank. Don't let this happen. When you get tired, please don't sink the hips down. Right? Make sure that you are dropping the knees and then back. Okay? Holding, holding, holding. Keep those knees relaxed. And knees down and relax. Switch it out. We're going to do a couple more of those. We doing okay so far? Hope we're doing okay. This is a new class, so I don't want to be too mean. Please holler if you need modifications. Okay. I will continue being mean. All right, so we're going to start on that tabletop and make sure that your elbows and your shoulders in the right place. Step it back. And let's go ahead. If you need a challenge, you can do some hip drops. Just make sure that the lower back isn't caving down, right? I'm using a lot of feet for this. Of course, you don't have to do this. A little bit longer. And hold, knees down. And let's do a little wide child pose here. I think we're going to do that one more time. I need it. I'm being selfish. I'm going to make you all do it again, too. All right, here we go. Tabletop. Step it back. Nice and flat. And hold. Ooh. Deep breaths. You can do the tilts if you want to. Don't let the shoulders move. And come on down nice and slow. And relax. Yeah, those are easy, right? Grab some water. Drink some water. Okay. So I tell people all the time, core, and I know all of you who are familiar with me, you've heard this a million times, still important. Core is not just this. It's not just the front of the body. It's also the side, it's also the back, it's also the top and the bottom. The top is your diaphragm, which helps you breathe, right? Expands and contracts to help with the lungs. And the pelvic floor is the bottom. So whenever we're doing exercises, especially those like extensions to the back, imagine that you have to pee, kind of squeezing those pelvic floor muscles, really holding that belly button in towards the spine and continuing to breathe. That's very important. So let's go ahead and get the side of the core, and I'm just going to use some weights, some 8-pounders, just one at a time. Okay, if you don't have them, don't worry about it. You can just really suck it in and hold it and engage, and you'll get just as much out of it. Okay. If you have a lower back injury, I really recommend that you do these in a small range of motion, and also make sure that you're leaning slightly forward rather than directly to the side or to the back. Okay. I'm just going to tilt to one side. My other elbow is kind of the indicator. Okay, my arm will straighten as I do this. Don't lock those knees, don't move the hips. We're just using the side body right here and right in here. We're also trying really hard not to crouch like this. You're staying totally upright, really. A few more on this side. Other side. If you want, you can alternate sides. You got 2 weights. I'm just doing one at a time. You can even, if you want to, you can get a little extra stretch. Oh yeah, when you do this. But keep your core tight. Keep that belly button sucked in towards the spine. Couple more on this side. Good. Let's work the lower back just a little bit before we move on to balance. So remember that your core also includes the lower back. And I love deadlifts because they really help with back strength and core strength. So feet are hip width apart. Belly is sucked in towards the spine. We're nice and tall through the body, nice long neck. Okay. Knees are soft, and I'm going to hinge forward like Barbie. Okay. This weight is going to stay along my leg, so it never separates. That's how I know when I'm watching y'all in class. That's how I know you've disengaged your upper back, because the weight will separate. So there's my secret. Okay. Keep that weight along your legs. Don't let this happen. Okay. Go down as far as you can. Probably just about to the kneecap, and squeeze your butt, squeeze your belly all the way to the top. Okay. And you will feel this in the hamstrings and the lower back. No need to do this unless you want to. A few more of these. Last one. And go ahead and relax. All right. So I think for the rest of class, I will not be wearing shoes. That is up to you. If you have a foot injury, listen to it. But I'm going to use my foam pad. You know what? I'm not going to use the foam pad yet. I lied. I'm going to use my chair. We're going to do those extensions that we did to the back, but we're going to do them standing. Really, there we go. Okay. Please make sure you're drinking water. We're doing a lot of spine today, so keep yourself hydrated. So I'm going to start nice and straight. My posture tends to stick out my butt and lean my chest forward. If you have the opposite, just try to stay as tall and stacked as possible. Get those hips right underneath the ribs, and feet are square. And what we're going to do, we did this earlier in my other class today. we are going to rotate one foot, not the foot, the hip. Okay, so you're going to change direction of the entire leg, but you're not going to let your hips rotate. Okay, so it's not a warrior, right? So we're going to make sure that the foot rotates. Okay, and from here we're going to try to balance on this left side, and from here we're just going to lift that leg gently to the side. Keep your hips square, don't let them go to here. Okay, not a jazz tilt. Okay, I'm going to flex my foot. Knee is slightly bent, and I'm staying nice and tall in the upper back. If you can only get to right here, it's fine. Do what you can. Okay, so foot is flexed. Knee slightly bent. And trying to kick that leg out to the side. I'm sorry, to the back. Toes to the side. All right, so you should feel this right here and in the low back. Height is not important. Just tap those toes. And hold. Hold right here. Don't lock this standing knee. Hold your core. If you're going to lock anything, it's going to be the core. Breathe. Hold. And come on down nice and slow. Go ahead and take a stretch. Your standing side was probably working harder than your moving side. That's totally normal. Other side. So we're going to start parallel. Open that foot out to the side without the hips changing direction. And we're going to do the same thing, foot flexed. Okay, you can practice your balance however you like. You should really be feeling this in here and in here. Because every time you lift the butt up, you have to compensate with the front of the body too. Okay? Every time. Foot flexed. Height is not important. Keep it holding. Couple more. Last one. And hold. Try to balance. Feel your weight in your foot. Are you collapsing your arch? Are you rotating outwards like I was? Or are your toes still forward? Weight evenly distributed through the foot. And come on down nice and slow. Turn it in. Take a stretch. Let's go ahead and just lean on this chair. And we are going to practice some foot mobility here. Okay, so just standing parallel, let your knees bend. I want you to imagine that you're pushing like wearing stilettos or that you're trying to squash a big nasty bug, okay? So you're gonna lift one heel and bend that leg as you straighten the other one. So permission to slightly lock this knee now. We're trying to hyperextend just a little bit, but only if you lift from here, okay? And then you're gonna push that foot back down like it's hard to do, and then switch to the other side. And this is a moment to check what your ankles and your knees do, okay? We want a nice straight line, right? We don't want any of this. We don't want any of this, like the knee coming in or the collapsing of the big toe. So try to keep your legs even, okay? It's a good chance to practice balance and stretch out the arch of the foot. Everybody's feet are different. This is going to be particularly difficult for you if you have bunions, plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendonitis, Martin's neuroma, arthritis, neuropathy. Did I miss anything? Do your best. A couple more. Good. And let's go ahead now. We're just going to take a quick, oh yeah, goodbye. Quick stretch onto the calf. Both knees slightly bent. And just breathe. Make sure that your toes are not clenching up when you do your calf stretches. Try to release the hips and the knees, and you'll get more out of the calf. So you're pretending that this calf in the back here is very heavy, and it's kind of pulling your leg towards the ground. To come out of this, I just lean forward and release that leg very slowly. Okay, and you'll do the other side. Take it slow. You may have to start like right here. Okay, that's fine. Deep breaths. This one always feels so nice. And lean it forward, come out nice and slow, and we're going to work on those feet some more. Okay, so go ahead and scrunch up your toes. Even if you're wearing shoes, just try to scrunch them. I have to do that, not on the ground. Okay, so you can do one at a time, like this. Okay, but scrunch up your toes. Right. Okay, and then the other side. Scrunch them, spread them, scrunch them. Okay, all right. If you have trouble with these exercises to begin with, please just do the first one we did, right, which was just like these. Or you can do your calf presses, okay, do some of these. Otherwise, what we're going to go ahead and do is just relax this leg, okay, relax. I've got my right leg relaxed, so it's slightly bent, okay, because I'm leaning into one hip, which usually is absolutely not allowed, but for today I will allow it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to lift that heel up, and let's make sure we're not rolling to the outside or the inside. Okay, nice and even. And what we're going to do is go all the way up to there, and we're going to go all the way up to a point and then gently curl it over. Now you may not be able to get very far, and that's okay. If you can go far down, that's also okay. But you'll feel a stretch in the top of your foot and your toes. Sometimes the carpet or a squishy thing is more comfortable. Okay, so just do that a few times, really trying to, and then you can go all the way to a calf stretch too, all the way, working the mobility of the foot. You can even work your hands at the same time you do this. Okay. Right. So just nice and slow, breathing. There's no weight in this foot that I'm doing this with, by the way. Doesn't need any. It already feels the stretch. Okay, go ahead and finish that side, and we'll do the other one. Start with calf stretch. I always like to start with that calf stretch. And then up and over. Try to relax this. Okay. Up and stretch. Ooh. If you've got shin splints, this is a good one for you, right? Just trying to stretch the front of the ankle right here. Okay. I know Kirk does a lot of toe yoga stuff too, so I'm sure you're all keeping up just fine. This is a good time to, I'll allow it for today since I'm feeling nice and the sun just came out. Go ahead and look at your feet. Okay, and what you'll notice, it's easy for me to share because my foot does it, but when I go up like this, it's very wobbly. The ankle is very wobbly. That's because I'm recovering from an ankle injury, right? So try to really make it so that you're conscious of your movement. Really, yeah, see, like right here, it really likes to wobble. And if you have any kind of foot injury or illness or weakness, then these are really important to do to keep up your strength. So now I'm just kind of standing on here, letting my calves hang off the edge. And you can do this with the yoga mat too. And just stretch and relax in my knees. And now we're really going to get to the balance. Now that we've warmed up those feet as promised, let's go ahead and we're going to just loosen up the knees a little. Okay, I'm going to stand on my balance pad, and I'm going to try really hard not to fall. because I don't want to use my chair. Okay. What I'm going to do is start by, again, whatever space you have, you can do this like on carpet. I mean, I guess you could do it on a pillow. I'll step on this poor alpaca here. I guess you could do this on a pillow, but I really don't trust this because it's not consistent. So if you have trouble with your balance already, I wouldn't really use a pillow. Yoga mats are great. I mean, unless it's like a really big pillow. Anyway, okay, so we're gonna go right outside of hip width. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is stand up nice and tall. Hold my core. Hold my glutes. Don't lock my knees, and I'm gonna close my eyes. And I just want you to feel your balance on your unstable surface. Spread out your toes. Let your feet work. I want you to feel where your center of gravity is through your feet. And because you're standing on something squishy, it's going to be kind of hard to feel. Hold your core, hold your glutes, especially that medius that we warmed up, right? Now go ahead, keep your eyes closed, and we're going to do a freeform squat, okay? Right here. You're going to hold right here. Keep those eyes closed best you can. Don't let those knees do something funky. Feel the balance in your ankles. And hold your core, come all the way back up. Remember when you're doing squats, weights in your heels. So you're having to shift your weight, breathe. And all the way up. If squats are too much for you, you can just practice that deadlift. Leaning slightly forward with soft knees and then coming back up. But feel your weight, right? Feel what your feet are doing. If you can, let's go all the way down to the ground. Well, not all the way down to the ground, all the way down to the toes, okay? Holding that squat, breathe. And squeeze your butt, come all the way back up. All right. Let's bring those feet in so that they're almost touching. Okay, almost touching, not quite. And we're gonna stand like a flamingo. I'm so mean. Okay, so you can go ahead and start. I want you to really be aware of your ankles as you do this, okay? Because as soon as you lift that leg, what happens a lot of time is these ankles do something funky, okay? Keep it as straight up as you can. I like to compare this kind of ankle movement to when you step on something really weird and you twist your ankle. That's basically what that is. Okay, so we want to train those muscles to work correctly. So ankle all the way up, still using these toes on the balance pad. And once I find my balance, I'm going to try to lift that leg up. Knee is just going straight forward. Flamingo. Okay, up, 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 hold that core, squeeze those glutes. Breathe, use your upper back, use everything you've got to hold that balance, especially your ankle. Oh, mercy, this is tough. Come on down nice and slow. Other side. We're going to do each side a couple times. Some people don't need a balance pad for this to be a challenge, and that's all right. It's even harder to do without shoes on. Okay, so find that center of gravity and lift up that leg. And this is one of those do as I say, not as I do moments. I have a tendency to do something funky with my ankles, which is roll them outwards like this, which is this. Don't do that. And try to, yeah, there we go. Try not to do that. And balancing, breathing. Hold your core. And come down nice and slow. Grab a drink of water. All right, I'll let you in on a secret for balance. And some of you may already know this. But when we balance on one foot, our center of gravity has to shift, right? If I'm trying to balance on my left side, I can't be leaning over here, right? I mean, I guess I can, but that's not going to be very maintainable, okay? So when I shift my weight, it centers me over that leg. So it's like shoulder, hip, knee, ankle, big toe, especially if we're up on the big toe, right? So as soon as something goes outside of that line, for example, if we sit in a hip, my shoulder is no longer directly over my hip joint, okay? So we want to make sure that we're really shifting the weight towards one side, okay? So that's very, very helpful. By the way, walking is a dynamic balance. You're shifting your weight and shifting your weight. So if you can walk, you can balance. Sometimes I can't walk, I swear. But so we're going to do that again. You can be a little wider if you want to practice shifting your weight, but you can even start like this, just shifting, right? Feeling your feet adjust, feeling your knees adjust to the weight shift, right? So then kind of test yourself, shift and balance. Okay, feel how that ankle's working really, really hard. Hold that core, hold those glutes. Oh gosh. Nice and tall. And I'm not just lifting this leg up. That's all I'm doing with it. If you want an additional challenge, you can practice your tree pose. Okay. And come down nice and slow. Shake it out. Woo. When I learned that was a revelation. I don't know, sometimes the simplest things, we don't understand how to use our body and then it just clicks into place. So go ahead and shift a couple times side to side and then right into that balance. Hold that core, hold those glutes. Additional challenge, you may do a tree pose. You can cheat if you need to. The other thing is keep holding, but try not to, a lot of times people tend to lean back when they balance. You actually want to lean slightly, just ever slightly forward, like over the ball of your foot, and hold that core, right? So if you lean backwards, you're actually shifting all of your body weight basically backwards, and that's going to be a lot of pressure on your knees. So you lean slightly forward. Whew. Keep holding. And come down nice and slow. Stretch out those knees. All right. I hope I'm making it look easy. Really, it's not. We're going to make it harder. Okay, so please make sure you are safe doing this. It's important to do not hurt yourself. So I have my buddy system here, just in case. I am going to hang my heels off the edge on the thingamadoo. Okay, and I'm just going to start by letting my heels and my knees relax downwards. Just get that stretch. Let your toes spread out. On a normal day, I would ask who has some kind of foot injury or abnormality, and like 90% of the class would raise their hand. And I would say, do more foot stretches and do more foot exercises, because not having functional feet or having pain in the feet, it's a no fun. So we're just really trying to loosen them up. It feels nice in my arches. Keeping those ankles strong is super important. So because I'm on this balance pad, it's going to do something funky to my posture, to my gait. So what it does is it kind of pulls my hips back so that I'm pinching my lower back. So I have to bend my knees a little bit in order to feel more comfortable. So do what you got to do. But from here, I'm going to keep my eyes and my chin up. Okay? And I'm going to do my best from my heels on the ground to shifting my weight forward and the ball of my foot to all the way up with parallel ankles. Okay? Don't let those ankles roll out or in. And try to balance. When you can't, slowly come down. Don't crash down. You're in control. Up. Try to balance. Hold that core, hold the belly, hold your butt. Balance. Okay, and you can no longer hold it, come on back down. And stretch every time. Go ahead at your own pace. Do 4 more. Some people like to reach up like this. Helps them find their line. I like to do this. Whatever helps you. Eyes up, chin up. Feel those stretches. If your feet are telling you to take a break like mine are, do so. Stretch. Breathe. I think pretty much everybody's on their last one, so let's finish up this last one. Holding, and let's try to balance. Feet are parallel. Balancing. Balancing. And come on down nice and slow. Stretch it out. My knees are bent. My toes are relaxed. Stretching my low back and my calves. I'm going to ditch the mat. And we're going to do that again. Make it a little bit easier. I see a lot of times, and I do this too, when we go up and we're trying to balance like this, the toes are like, I got this, and they clench really, really hard. I want you to think of like a Canadian goose. On the feet really fan out, okay? Really spread out your toes. The larger the surface area, the greater the balance, okay? So nice and tall, nice and stacked. Shift that weight towards the ball of the foot, spread out your toes, and press up. Try to balance. Holding, don't lap those knees. Hold core, hold butt. Balancing. Eyes up, chin up. Leaning slightly forward, remember. And float back down like it's no big deal. Yeah. And stretch. Stretch your calves. We got about 5 minutes left, so we're gonna do the hardest thing I'm gonna make you do today, and then we'll stretch it out. I really don't know what kind of balance work Kirk usually has you do, so I hope I'm not offending anyone or being too crazy. All right. I'm going to do this on the balance pad. You don't have to. I doubt I can do this on the balance pad, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to start with my heels hanging off, have my buddy system here. I'm actually going to lean towards my right foot, try to balance on that right foot. Okay, and then I'm going to try to go all the way up on that right foot and balance there. Not going to happen on the foam. Okay, so leaning, lifting that foot. You can use your friend to go all the way up. Please don't do this if it hurts you. Just do both legs at the same time. Or you can kind of cheat, right? And have, you know, one foot still kind of helping you. But try not to lean. Try to find your balance here. Right? This is very difficult. Go ahead and do like 3 or 4 on each side, nice and slow. Don't clench those toes. Do one more on the other side here. So this is something to work towards for all of us, I think. Go ahead and stretch it out. I'm going to do a modified down dog with my heels. Let's do this with my heels off the edge of the foam. Okay. Need to have it just right, kind of like the dog, going around in circles until it's just right. Okay. And I'm just going to bend those knees, let my heels hang off the edge of the foam, and stretch it out. Nice deep breaths. And I kind of like to straighten and bend my knees, but what I make sure to do is lift my hips every time, or else my knees don't like it. Okay, so make sure you're lifting the hips every time. I think I'm lifting my feet just a little bit too. Okay, so nice deep breaths. You can bend down and up. Make sure those toes are relaxed. Stretch out those arches. One more. And come on up nice and slow. Let's do a quick, just standing on flat surface, just quick arch back. Breathe. And then opposite. Just kind of some standing cat-cow. Let's go a little bit to the side. Nice deep breaths. Good. And I'm going to give everybody homework. It's not even my class, and I'm giving you homework. I want you to find a tennis ball, lacrosse ball, ball of some kind that isn't squishy. And I want you, like I have this stuff, like one of these. Okay, some people even use a rolling pin if you want to use it for your feet, but give yourself a foot massage, okay? Because I feel like I was pretty rough on your feet today, so if you're feeling tender tomorrow, give yourself a little foot massage. Otherwise, let's finish up with a nice couple deep breaths. We're gonna go down and up. Hips back. Drop your head. Lift the head. One more. And relax. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm sure you did fantastic. I'm sorry if I was mean.